say you want to have fun and don't care about nobody else, do Zumba, do solo class. That is just you.
Joining us today is Arthur Santos, an international Brazilian Zouk artist, teacher and lifelong student of movement. For Arthur, partner dance is more than performance. It's self-improvement, communication, biomechanics and empathy in motion.
People sometimes come to me and say that's a Zouk technique. I said, no, I guess we are more into biomechanics and anatomy.
In this episode, he challenges the rush for flashy results, breaks down why safety and foundations matter, and reveals why real partner dancing begins with listening.
If you're doing something that is a partner dance, it's not about 100% you, it's a 50-50.
And after 2 decades, his philosophy comes down to something beautifully simple.
It's a lifestyle, it's not a hobby, it's not a work. I say to my students especially, don't bring your life into dancing, bring dance into your life.
All this and much more right here on Step by Step, where every step tells a story.
Arthur, thank you so much for being with us.
My pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
I'm so happy that we made it work because you travel so much, right? You just got back from Mexico.
Right on time. It was good time, definitely.
Yeah, super good. So I actually want to ask a first question that I ask every guest that comes through here. And I think for you it's especially relevant because I've heard you talk about so much, not just how you move, but why you do certain movements, yes. Right? The why is important to you.
Yes.
So the question I want to ask you is, why do you dance?
Dancing for me, I would say it's been my life, my whole life. I don't remember when I didn't dance. Since I was a child, like a baby, let's say. I remember my mom and my old brother used to go to ballroom classes and they took me with them. I used to go. In high school, I remember I was playing a physical education as every kid and doing soccer as usual. And then there I see girls dancing, what is that? I want to do that too. And then I started dancing, and for me it was just a way to, in school, let's say, I always suffer a little bit of bullying, all the kind of stuffs and all that. And the dancing for me at that time was I suffer even more bullying as coming from a place where, let's say, my city, it's very old school in a way, men should do man stuff, women do this. And that stereotype, right? If a man dance, he's probably homo, he's gay and all this. I hear my dad's parents making jokes and things like this. I'm yeah, whatever. And for me, it was my escape. For me, it was my escape where I could just have fun, meet people, socialize, and all that. And in a way, for me, dancing was, it's I say, for me, it's a lifestyle. It's not a hobby, it's not a work, it's a lifestyle. It's a way of living, and I always try to say it's I say to my students especially, don't bring your life into dancing, bring dance into your life. So more than, learn, because through dancing you need to learn how to socialize, you need to know how to respect boundaries, you need to learn how to listen, you need to learn how to talk, you need to learn how to do a lot of stuff. So it's it's a way of living. It's not just a hobby for me. So it's for me, it's saved my life in many different ways. And it's yeah, I guess the best way, why I do is just I don't know why I wouldn't. That's for me, it's it's I don't have a concrete answer for that. I do this because I love. No, it's I don't know why I wouldn't do it, and I don't know why many people don't do it too. Should be something related to art and all that, but it's more than just a hobby or art or some things. Like I said, it's a way of living for me more than everything.
I really like what you said, and I've heard you say before that dance saved you in many ways.
Yeah.
And you've been dancing since almost 20 years, right?
Yes, let's say properly a partner dancing. I started, yes, it's 19 years right now.
And I think this concept of dance as a lifestyle it's weird because I've done some research as to in our society when did dance start, and I think it was like 9,000 years ago.
Yeah.
So we danced before we could almost communicate in any other way. It was deeply embedded in our society, and in some ways it's a very human thing to do.
Yeah.
In the 20 years that you have been dancing, what have been some of your biggest lessons?
One of my big lessons, I guess for me, was empathy. Always put myself in other shoes, see the difficulties. That's not because it's easy for me, it should be easy for everybody else. Learn to listen more too, more than talk. So sometimes, especially as a teacher, we need to more than just talk, we need to listen a lot as well. And for me, dancing have, I guess I would say dancing educate me in all different ways, through push myself, respect myself, boundaries, empathy, and all that. I guess for me, that's one of the big lessons for me is the empathy, you see, see yourself in other people too, for me, that's, I guess, would be the best thing for me, let's say.
Awesome. And thinking a little bit back to how you started, you mentioned that it was, your parents and your brother that were doing the kind of Brazilian ballroom, you said, right?
Yes.
And you mostly work around Zouk now, right?
Yes. Right now, we have a generation, I think, 10 years ago, let's say, the generation, people used to dance, like I said, I don't like the titles, right? Like people say, you're a bachateiro, or you're a salseiro, you're a zoukero. I said, no, I'm a dancer. I dance. I choose Zouk as my career, but I can dance other styles too. And back in Brazil, it's very common, the schools, we have scholarships. So for people, maybe don't have how to pay it, but you want to learn. So we have a lot of we call bolsistas in Brazil. So it's like a scholarship. You don't pay the membership, but you need to commit to that. And then you have a special training. So for there, you cannot choose what you like. You need to learn everything. Once you learn everything, you can choose to specialize on it. So for me, at the beginning, I learned Zouk and all that, but I love the music, but the dance was yeah, it's okay. I used to be more into Argentine tango, and salsa was my two favorite first. And then 2008, I moved to Mexico to do a student exchange. And there I studied a little bit more salsa. And then I was like, oh, I like this even more. And then I met as well bachata, but the bachata back then was nothing compared to what it is right now. So for me, I'm very curious. I'm hungry for knowledge. I think the thing I most afraid of is to be ignorant and not knowing something. So if probably I don't know, I'm probably gonna say don't know. But tomorrow I will. I will probably go through the whole night, research, study, and learn about it. So for me, it's the knowledge for me, it's I'm hungry for it. I like to know, I like to understand, for me, it's a way to communicate, more I can, have bases, especially in the dance where my students in the community, I say to everybody, I say, look, I don't teach dancers how to dance. I'm teaching lawyer, I teach doctors, I teach engineers, I teach everybody. So I need to learn how to talk in different languages. I need to learn how to talk with graphics. I need to learn how to talk with more examples of life. I need to know how to talk about, if a doctor, I need to tell about biomechanical is how you can say. So it's for me, studying, it's very important. So the knowledge and all that. So it's all come together on this. So my brain is always 1,000 miles per hour. I'm always looking for more information, how I can bring more information to me, to my students, and to everybody into the dance. So for me, the dance is it's just a way to improve life in all kinds of ways.
No, thank you. Thank you for going there. And I think you've touched on a few really important topics, right? That the kind of students that you have, like you say, are not necessarily dancers. And something I've heard you talk about before is how to make dance inclusive and how to make dance accessible for any body.
Yeah.
I would love to understand a little bit more about your perspective also on Zouk, and maybe demystify some of the things you think other people get wrong about it, because it's true that from the outside sometimes maybe you will have probably heard people say, right, oh, it's
all the time
too technical, or I can't do this with my head, or my back cannot, whatever.
It's like, we hear all the time that like, oh, my neck, oh, this, all that. I'm like, the thing for me is like the Zouk have this concept about people see the head movements, the spins and all that. It's all cool, it's all beautiful, but it's not all about it. Like Zouk, actually, we have a lot of footwork involved, and through that footwork and that foundation, it's what is make all the head movements work. The thing is, right now we live in a society that we have that need of express dopamine. So everybody want everything too fast, like people need that dopamine straight through. Like I post something on Instagram, I need to have the likes, I need to have the views. If I don't have it, I get like that anxiety, what is happening, what is doing wrong. So have that need to do more, show off. And sometimes for me, I always say that is the part where it's cool, but become more like, oh, that's nice, but that's not for me. And people on that rush, they think, like I hear all the time, people like ask me sometimes, oh, how long do I need to learn to be good? I'm like, don't think about that. Enjoy the journey. Like I've been doing this for almost 20 years and I still think that I'm like just in the beginning, because it's like once you think you know everything or you're good enough is when you stop learning. So people are afraid, it's like a circle that happens every dance style. Beginners want to be intermediate want to be advanced want to go back to beginning. So it's like people have this misconcept about foundations, and when they heard the word like beginners, they think they I'm like a, I don't know, amateur or whatever. I say, no, beginners means it's the beginning. It's the foundation of something that you're gonna build. Bigger it's your beginning, bigger it's your foundation, taller you can go. But sometimes people wanna go too fast. And sometimes for the Zouk, like what happens, like we have that very extended foundations. And like I have a lot of the times people that come to me, especially nowadays with the fusions that is happening between bachata and Zouk, and people sometimes they want to come to my Zouk classes like, I want to do Zouk because I want to do this for bachata. I said, okay, do you really want to learn Zouk or you want to learn the head movements that we have on Zouk? Because that is two different stuff. In a way, my students, for example, for them start learning head movements, it's after a year and a half. And then I start introduce the head motions. And people look at me, oh my God, that long? I said, sounds a lot, but once you actually start understanding, you're gonna see that it's way more than that. So it's important like people see the Zouk like this, oh, we have the head movements and all that, but actually it's very safe when you have a strong foundation to back you up. So the head movement is not just go there and rolling and everything. It's like, for me, I always say to people, like it's, as I study physical education too, so for me, it's all based on performance. So how can I do the same with less tension, with higher perform and all that? So it's all in anatomy. Like the thing is like everybody have a spine, So even though everybody have like, some people have different, some people have injuries, some people have some variations, but it is that the anatomy, the biomechanic, it works for everybody. But also have, like for me, I need to understand, to read and understand that, for example, usually in Asia, Asians, like usually they're very good, for example, in some sports, like weightliftings and all that, because of their anatomy. And I have a lot of the times, like sometimes in Asian, like the thoracic part, like on the spine, is almost more flat. So a lot of the times when you need, I was teaching people like how to do like a flexion, and I was like, why you guys don't? And then I need to go through history behind, like I said, like why people like it. And I'm like, oh, so everything's adaptable. Everything can be done. But these people like is scared of like, oh, Zouk is not for me, or Zouk is like, it is for everybody. The thing is people are not patient. People want everything too fast. People want to go, they don't like it. They want to see the product, the final product. Like, you know, like they see the final product that we do, but they don't want to go through what we went through to do it. I say to my students, like after, for example, 2 months of class, they're like, oh, I've been dancing for 2 months. I said, nope, you've been dancing for 8 hours. So if you come like once a week during classes, if you do the math, it's just 8 hours. 8 hours I used to do in one day. So the math is very easy. How I'm going to prove? It's not based on years. For me, I based on hours. So tell me how many hours of classes you do. Like social dancing doesn't count. Like it happen a lot of the times. I say to my students, people want to come to class to dance and to the social to learn. I said, no. You come to the class to learn, and the social apply what you learn. But how many times like people like they do a few classes, they feel that is already good. I just social dance. And I said, I have like discussions with some students, people saying like, I just want to have fun. I don't want to be pro. I said, fine, but don't be selfish, because maybe you are having fun. Have you ever thought that the other person are having fun too? Because maybe you're having fun, but that person's compensating and not having fun, so you make sure you're having fun. So the thing sometimes, a lot of the times people are a lot of like what I want more than what I could offer, or it's always like this, like what I want, and when you need to blame someone, it's easy to blame someone else. Mm-hmm. So instead of like always thinks, what could I do better to help them? So it's all like a mindset, a way of thinking, a way of see things. And I like to say to people, I like to go out a lot and just look people, enjoy. Like every place that I go, I like to go usually at night to bars, clubs and everything, and just watch people like behavior, how people interact in each country, each place, it's different. So I like it to for me, it's like the way where I can really see this, okay, so that's how it works here. And sometimes like from there it's easy to use examples to teach, and people get like, oh, I've seen that before. So it's just easy.
Super. I think it's really interesting what you said also about this discussion, right? And you hear this a lot of people saying, oh, I just want to have fun. I don't need so much technique, whatever. But I think an important point is it isn't just about enjoyment. It is also about safety.
Yes.
And the moment at which you enter a partner dance, you are not just responsible for yourself moving, you are also responsible for being in partnership with somebody else. And I think part of the reason that we are starting to see more injuries in the dance scene is just a lack of technique. Mm-hmm. And people may be watching movements, wanting to try executing without understanding necessarily how is it safe to execute this? How can I best prepare this? What is the other person's range of movement? Yeah. How far should I push it or not? Because most of the time you don't push, you just invite
exactly.
Right, a follower to do.
Yeah, definitely. I guess like technology, it's a good thing. It helps spread things all around. But like when I started, we didn't have YouTube, Facebook, this stuff. So I guess back at the time, people were more forced to really go to the teacher, get the knowledge and learn. Nowadays, a lot of the times people see a video on YouTube, oh, that's how it's done, and they do it. But not what you see, actually, it's what you feel. So visually, it's a lot of the times like it's all about perspective. Like I say to everybody, like for example, a lot of the movements that we do on Zouk, for example, it's not the head that is going backwards, it's her body that is moving forward. So it's like a changing perspectives, change everything. One thing is me leading back, another thing is me inviting forward. So when I lead back, I'm creating an action that I'm like into your body. When I create your invitation to move forward, I'm creating a reaction in a passive way of your head. So I create a preparation and all that, and that happened. So the safety, it's like the number one. It's very funny because with all my colleagues and friends, especially like the leaders, the male, most of us are the one that have more back problems than the followers. Because a lot of the times happen that we carry a lot of weight of people. They put weight and like I'm carrying all the time the weight there. And it's like, okay, we want to like make sure that people have fun, enjoy, but at the same time, like I can tell you, look, most of like the leaders, especially like I'd say on Zouk, that I know have a back. The leaders, you can see like all of us like, more than anything.
Cracking.
The followers have more, of course, the neck and all that, of course. They like, but it's not just one side, it's both sides, you know, like same way the leader needs to be careful when he's doing a cambrai with a follower, the follower needs to be careful to don't. I'm like I said, I'm supporting you, I'm not carrying you. It's two different stuff.
100%.
So it's like, going back, I said like again, like people, they want to like, I want to have fun. I say, you want to have fun and don't care about nobody else, do Zumba, do solo class. That is just you. You know, like it's you and nobody else. So if you're doing something that is a partner dance, it's not about 100% you, it's a 50-50. So you need to learn how to talk, you need to learn how to say, how to listen, how to communicate. It's like, and sometimes we're not going to have like people say like, they think that they need to be happy to dance. Or I said, no, you don't need to be happy to dance. You can be sad, you can be angry, you can do all that. The thing is like, you don't transfer that to someone else. Emotions are made by motion, you know, so more you move your body, then your body gonna feel different. And sometimes not every day you're gonna have the best dances. Not every day you're gonna feel great about yourself. And that's okay. Like we are not looking for perfection, we are not looking for you know, people like they have this like I want to do it right. In class, I say to my students all the time, look, if you come here, learn something new, and get out of here feeling great, something was wrong. In a way where if you did something completely new, your body gonna feel weird. It's new, your body are not used to that. And that's a good sensation, you need to embrace it. Next week, you're gonna feel better. Because your body already like, oh, I can process that. But a lot of the times, people want to feel great all the time. I said, look, in a knowledge, when you learn something new, probably going to feel easy, but feeling easy and feel comfortable is two different stuff. You know, so people need to get more used to get out of the comfort zone. People like I say to people a lot of times, I don't like this. I said, look, people have the tendency to don't like things for two reasons. Or they don't understand, or they don't know, or they suck at it. Like, so I used to hate math because I suck at it. I was terrible. But when I got a good like score, and I was like, oh, I like this. So a lot of the time I say to people like, before you say you don't like it, try to understand. You don't need to be your favorite, but respect. So for me, like I guess right now in the dancing, it's missing this idea of respect. It's everybody want to tell their truth, but nobody want to hear someone else's truth. So it's about like, you know, this is right, this is this is that, this is that. I'm like, okay, guys, it's not a Zouk community, it's not a bachata community, it's not a salsa community, it's not a kizomba community, it's a dance community. We are all dancers. We all have a space to talk. So let's listen to each other first and see how we can collaborate together. It's not about like, now I see like some people say like, oh, because the bachata, it's stealing things from Zouk and blah, blah, blah. I say, yeah, but Zouk, we got influence from all other styles. So what can we say? So it's like a matter of fact, people understanding about the safety, about your respect, about you. I don't know that, I don't like it. Have you ever tried? I hear a lot of people like say, I don't like this. Have you ever tried? No. So how you know? So try to understand. Maybe you're not good at it, that's why you don't feel comfortable. But it's not because you don't feel comfortable means it's bad. It's just not for you. And that's okay. But at least you try, you know?
Absolutely. I mean, so much to unpack in what you've just said,
Yeah,
right?
sorry,
But
like I start talking, you need to stop me because I go like all over the place.
no,
Sorry.
it's awesome. It's super good. I mean, I think on the point that you were making about the mindset and people wanting to move quickly and to see results quickly, you know, this is something that we often actually talk about at Step by Step, this idea of having to make mistakes because it's part of your learning process and not focusing necessarily just on outcomes, but more on your inputs. How are you training? How are you showing up? How are you feeling? And then the results will come eventually, right? But if you only measure results, it's the perfect recipe for getting frustrated, and eventually maybe even stopping to do the thing that you love. And one thing I actually really wanted to explore with you is I know that you had a big injury on your spine. I don't know exactly at which point, how many years it was ago.
2011.
2011. Okay, so a little while ago. Talk to us about how that impacted you, because, you know, for a dancer to have an injury, which I understand was pretty serious, you needed help even getting out of bed. What was that like, and how did you manage whatever was going on in your head at that point?
When I got like that injury, was painful still. And I guess like more than the pain was hearing the, you know, in videos that when I used to wear like the protection, like belt and things like this. So I used to be very, very stiff. So then you can see like, you know, in the videos, the comments, people saying things, what he's doing there, like he's very stiff, he's blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I never say nothing. I was like, it's all good. Went to the doctors, all the doctors said, look, surgery. Surgery? I'm like, nope. I'm not gonna let one little bone may go into surgery.
One bone in your spine.
I'm like, no. I said, look, what can I do? They said, you can try to do something. So that's when I met this guy in Brazil, an osteopath. They helped me basically get back in place and working through stretching, strengthening. And back at the time, with a friend of mine, João, he was specialized in CrossFit and weightlifting, Olympic weightlifting. And then I started training with him, work with him, but I used to work just a PVC, and I was I put myself in my head, I said, look, I'm gonna go against everybody. I'm gonna go what I believe, and I'm gonna push through that. I will be careful, but I'm gonna be pushing because doctor said you cannot carry weights, you cannot above your head more than 20 kilos, you cannot lift from the floor more than 50 kilos. I said, no, wait me. And then I was
Hold my
training.
drink.
Yeah, I was training, and then I was strengthening my body. So for me, it was strengthening my body at the same time my mind. Okay, I feel the pain, and I'm breathe through and push. I say to people, I don't recommend to everybody. For me, I have a high tolerance to pain. So when I feel pain, it's because it's painful. And still nowadays I have sciatic pain, I have go all down to my legs and all the time. So I need to stretch. I need to have a routine of strengthening, stretch. When I'm not at the gym regularly, my body feels more. But that injury, for me, was I stop or I push through. And I gonna be based on myself and create excuse to everything that goes wrong, say, oh, it's because of my spine. And I remember that because my friend, he made me to do things, exercise. I'm yeah, no, I cannot do because of my back. And he looked at me and say are you always gonna give the same excuse or are you gonna actually try? And I'm yes, sir. So then I start pushing myself and in a way not when you say pushing myself was just forcing the result forcing, the movement forcing things. When I say pushing myself means I stick to with a structure. I found someone to help me through my journey with a structure, with proper training, so then I could push myself. Sometimes people don't understand. Like my mentor said to me, like, look, the right practice will bring you the right result. So he said, look, if you step on the shit once, it's gonna smell bad. But if you keep stepping that shit many times, it's gonna smell worse. So if you don't do it right, stop it, because you're just gonna develop a bad muscle memory that's not gonna work. And that's what happens a lot of the times in the process with people. They push themselves to training and practicing, but sometimes they feel good about the one movement or something, but not necessarily is doing the proper technique or how it's supposed to do. Their body just adjusts for what they feel comfortable. So I say to people, you need to be careful, because a lot of the times it's not that you cannot do a movement, it's not that you're not skillful enough, it's just your body is not ready for that type of movement. All dancers that are gonna go to a high level, we need to develop our body. We need to work out, we need to work on mobility, we need to work on that, because otherwise you're gonna have a moment that's it. That's what your body can do. And a lot of the times people say like, oh, I wanna do that. I said, do you have that shoulder mobility? Do you have that spine mobility? And sometimes I see like girls like wanna do like a high kick. I said, if you cannot do it, don't do it, because it's gonna look bad. It's like, it's ugly. So like, if you wanna do that, and I have people like, oh, I wanna do Zouk because I wanna feel more flexible. I said, do flexibility, do yoga, do Pilates, not Zouk. Zouk's not gonna like, it might gonna bring you conscience about it, but it's not forcing yourself to get in a position that's gonna develop that. So people need to understand to use tools to get that. So like, that's what I was doing. Like, I look for professionals that could give me tools that I could apply. Okay, so when I feel that type of pain, what kind of stretching or what is happening? So you should be doing this, so probably it's that. I said, okay. So more tools that I have, I knew how to solve that problem in that moment. So for me, like, I'm very thankful for all, like, therapists that work with me, all like he's my best friend. And until nowadays, like sometimes I said, I call him and said, look, I'm stuck. He's like, so do this type of exercise. And then it's instantly, like I said, okay, I'm back on track. So it's people understand like this process, it's like it's not, everything is possible. I say to people, like, if I can do what I do with my spine, the way I have, like I went to a physio here because I have one day that I was like stuck. And then when I showed him the x-ray, he said, look, we have 4 levels of this injury. Usually on level 2, people have surgery. You have level 3. How can you? I'm like, I don't know. I put my body in a strength, like I strengthen my body and I work that. He's like, if you can survive like that, stay as long as you can. And so I developed he said, I developed strong muscles on my core, on my back, so then I can stabilize. So a lot of the times what I say to people want to do things, I said, your body's just not ready to do the way, you want to do that? You need to go, are you willing to go through the process that I went? So you need to go. So people sometimes they see the result, right? The final result, and they just want to go there and copy and paste. And then say, oh, you're lucky, or you're that. I said, if you do half what I've done, okay. So if not, take our time. So I see, like I said again, it's that dopamine express. People want everything now, fast, but sometimes they don't want to go through the process. And the process, it's a journey. I say to people, don't think about the time. Don't think about how long or what it is. If you want it, you can make it. And people say, all kinds of stuff. You're lucky because you don't have a day job, right? I say, yeah. Because, you don't do this, you don't do that. I'm like, look, I went through everybody. Back at the time, back in Brazil, I used to work in the government during the day, go to the university during the afternoon, At night I go to dancing. After dancing I used to go like work as a taxi dancer. And back at the time I was like engaged. So I was like, I didn't like, I from 7 in the morning until 3 in the morning, I was having a full day. And on the weekends I used to work as well. So the thing is, what do you want? How fast do you want and everything? Like people want things fast, but they don't want to commit to it. And I feel sometimes people like they have a lot of excuse to don't do it. And I guess I just found the excuse to do it. That's like I said, that's the main difference. Like I guess like in Brazil as well, people like sometimes, oh, like you guys in Brazil, everybody dance. I said, I guess we just don't find the excuse on the floor, on the music, or it's hot, or it's this. We just dance. We just do it. And sometimes like people have best floors, best this, beautiful space and all that, and people, oh, always find something to criticize, or it's too expensive, or it's too this, or it's whatever. And I said, you guys want this, but at the same time it's just finding something to complain, find something to put yourself back, you know, or always find that excuse like, oh, it's because of this. Like, just enjoy the journey, enjoy the process. It's never gonna be 100% the way we want. Sometimes like I don't feel great. My body, it's in pain. And I'm like, oh my God, it's so painful, but like I push through. Like I listen to my body too. I do more stretching and all that. Sometimes I need to stop. Sometimes like, you know, and it's part of the process, I guess.
And from what I know, your process hasn't been necessarily easy, right? Like I know, I heard you talk about on a different podcast about going to festivals and taking like a 15-hour bus and
oh
not
yes,
having
at the
anywhere
beginning,
to
at the
stay.
beginning, oh yeah. I said to people like, my parents never helped me with nothing, with dancing in a way, like pay me to go to festivals. Back at the time where I was like underage, like, no, I figure out myself, everything. Like I have like back at the time, like didn't have the money to go to festivals. I used to have friends like, hey, can you call with the organizers? Just, I can work, I can do anything. I just want to have a space to do classes. And I have festival that I lost 5 kilos easily because I already have like a metabolism that's fast, and then like no eating properly, no nothing. I have places that like was at this festival in an island, didn't have, I was eating the food that friends were lefting over, like sharing with me, sleeping. I was like have like a house there. I was sleeping on this. Yeah, I like, but for me, like I said, like never was. I didn't focus on that. I was never like, oh, poor. No, it was like it's a process. I'm here now. Tomorrow I'm somewhere. I know what I want. I think like sometimes people they just don't know what they really want. They go influential by other people or the friends or things in their mind. I don't know, but like they really don't know what they want. And I knew what I want. And when I decided, like I want to do this, I'm gonna do this. So let's do it. Whatever life throws on me.
Where does that come from for you, that discipline, that drive?
I guess my parents somehow. I see always my mom, my dad always working. Like, you know, my parents, they always worked to give the best for me and my brothers. Never was much present in that case, but I think like that drive, and I guess somehow that drive, it's born inside me too somehow, to, as like I'm the youngest of my brothers, but I always was the one trying to solve everything. Family issues, fights and everything, I was the one trying to make everything. I used to like buy books from my parents. Like, you guys should read this book, you know? Like my mom and my dad always used to say to me, you should read. I said, I don't see you guys reading. So why you want me to read? Why you don't give me the example? So I have like other people as well that in my life that drive, like Valmir, that was my mentor basically on the dance. And then he has this phrase for me, like he said, do you want me to teach how to dance or how to make money with it? I'm like, teach me how to make money. The dance come after, so it's fine. So then he said, like, he gave me books to read. He's like, make me understand that it's a whole different other stuff, you know, like he like once said to me, he said, look, as an art, you need to learn how to be an artist and a businessman. He used ones like, he said, look, the Picasso never was a millionaire, but the owners of the museums, yes. So you can be a Picasso, but you can be the owner of the museum too. So you need to understand that it's not just about artists. Sometimes they live with, they just want to show their art. And I'm like, yeah, I say to people, look, I do with love. I don't do for love. You know, like people sometimes they misunderstand this, like, oh, but you love how to dance. Yeah, I love to dance, but that doesn't pay my bills. You know, like I do with love and all that. So, and I guess like this drive for me was just like the hunger of sometimes like I never liked to depend on nobody. I have like since I'm young, like I guess my dad somehow put that inside me. I remember when I was 8-10 years old, my dad, or even younger, my dad have like this business, and he gave me as a gift a little box to shine shoes. So I'm like, okay. I used to sit in front of the store. Each client that passed, like €1. That's like €1, let's say. And then I like shine the shoes, make the money. See ones like on was like already like holidays, school holidays and everything. I saw my dad paying this guy to like do like flyers on the street. I said, how much you pay him? Like €100. I said, pay me, I do it. So then I call one of my friends and say, you want to make some money? I pay you for that. And then I start like, so I did anything to like, to drive. For example, for me, when I was doing this, I had the scholarship. Some people, like for me, I learned to be proactive. I never wait. People ask, hey, do this. I learned to observe things and say, what can be done here? So at the school, for example, people usually like, we need to go at least 3 times a week. And that's it. Come to the socials and all that. But then I was like, I read like, in reading books, you know, like they say like, your average is gonna be the 5 people that you're most around. Mm-hmm. So I used to see my mentor, like he used to drive a Mercedes back then time as a dancer. And like people say like, as a dancer, you have a Mercedes? And like, I want to know more how you do that. So I start following him everywhere. I like, how can he, like, what time you going to come here to the studio? At this time. I used to go there and like I start cleaning everything. Like the windows, I said, I clean the windows. I fix this. I started doing just to be more time I could spend there and I can absorb everything. And like I just listen, I said, can I go with you there? I just want to be sitting right there. Nothing, no problem's gonna be. And I learned, so like just by this, doing this. I see people that inspire me, I'm like, can I buy you a drink? And I start getting to know people and I'm like this. And so like, this makes me good network, meet people and do things.
Mm-hmm. What do you think the 8-year-old boy that was shining shoes would say to you if you could see yourself right now?
Thank you. Oh yeah, no, it's like my life is always being like, you know, go through childhood issues, childhood traumas and all that I guess this even I have a little brother that he passed away. I never met him. His name is Guilherme. Mm-hmm. And my mom told me the story once that they were talking about in the family, and my mom mentioned like she want to have like three kids and all that. So then I heard, and then I asked them, I said, so mom, that means that my little brother, he gave his life so then I could be born? And then everybody was, whoa. And then for me, I have him, I never met him, but for me, I don't have like a, for me, like he gave me his life and I have this with me. So like I don't allow myself to give up. I don't allow myself to say no. Because if he gave his life for me being here, everything that I go through life is because I need to, if for a reason. So I'm gonna push forward. I'm not gonna give up. And that I carry with me all the time. And this is like in the back of my head, getting on my unconscious, and I'm like, you can do it. If life throws at you, it's because you can handle. Just see the good on it. Find the good. I try to find the good in every shit that happened to me. And I've been through a lot. And I said, I will find the good. I need to try and find the good in everything. Everything. Like,
do you think this is maybe part of the drive that you have, feeling
definitely.
like you have to not earn your place, but...
Yeah, definitely. Definitely it's my drive. Definitely it's my, I guess, my push through to every day. Like when I'm like, yeah, I said, nope, we should, of course, I'm a human. I have my days that I don't want to do nothing. I feel like shit, but I'm like, wait a second, let's go, let's do this. And that's, I guess, been my drive for many. So I even have like this tattoo that my little angel, he's here. So I guess like I do it, like I guess I believe in that. So I feel like somehow I have a very strong bond with him. Never met him, he was like my older brother, him, my older brother, and then me. So I'm like, and he was a baby, and like I have no, I saw like, I remember, I saw once a picture of him, and then I still sometimes when I talk, especially when I talk about it, it comes like that, his image in my head.
I mean, and that's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
My pleasure.
Yeah. I want to shift gears slightly and talk a little bit about your international experience, because I think something that adds a lot of value as well is thinking about what have you noticed about the dance community in the different countries that you've worked in? Because you worked in Australia, right, for a while. You've been working in Spain for a few years. Obviously, you worked in Brazil. What are some of the observations that you make about dance and the people who dance in these countries and what you've observed?
I think like culture-wise, it's affects a lot. It is different, like, the way of teaching, it's very different as well from Brazil, from outside. In Brazil, sometimes like we used to teach more like, everything was more relaxed, more like a copy and paste and all that. Of course, you have the techniques and all that, but once we move outside Brazil, and then you need to share your culture with other people, and then you say things that for us, it's like, yeah, I got it. And you say to people and everybody look at you like, what are you trying to say? And you're like, oh, damn. Now, how can I do that? So we learn, like I learned definitely, like once you go out to be more technical, to be more like, how can you translate that to other people? Because for us in Brazil, for example, I always say it's culture-wise, we just met someone, we're gonna be hug someone. We don't say hi or hi. Hi, and we hug. And that's natural for us. And when I was there, I got there in Australia and I did the same, people was like, and I'm like, oh damn, how am I gonna make people hug each other now to dance? So you need to develop things. So like the culture-wise, like, I guess dancing at the end, everywhere the dance, I say to people sometimes like, oh, because when you go to this country, the culture is more like this. But when you say in the community, dance community, it's all different. No matter where you go, it's like the dance community is different than the outside community. So I say to people, like, we have the humans and the dancers, no?
We're a cult.
Yeah,
I mean, completely.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
like the dancers is like people are more, they socialize more, they talk, they have more the interaction, the physical and everything. People are more like not much my space, your space. Yeah, so I guess like that's for me the beauty of the dance is because it's a universal language, you know. You can get anywhere and can you communicate even without say a word. So that for me the beauty that can connect every single place around the world, basically.
Amazing. Amazing. And thinking about the dance nerds that will be listening to us, who are looking to improve and really looking to progress, what would you say are some of the biggest things you would want everybody in the dance community to know as they are learning to dance? Both thinking about leaders, but also followers.
Is there this tactical saying that they say slow is smooth, smooth is fast. And that is not about speed, no, like, or means go slow. Means is like, you know, like taking the time, like to really go through every part. Like I say sometimes to people, like, I'm a quick learner. So yeah, that can be good, but sometimes when you're a quick learner, you skip things. Be a quick learner, but learn everything. Don't be a quick learner and jump. I'm like people like they have like this. We have these stages, right? You can maybe your dream like you don't want to become a professional, and I say to people, like, dancing is for everybody. Work with dance, it's not. So everybody can dance. Dance is for everybody, yes, but working with that, it's not. Being a good dancer doesn't make you a good teacher. So, and people need to understand that because I understand have communities with lack of professionals and some people like they want to learn and they start teaching. So amazing. But make sure you, and like it's not like a weekend teacher's course that's gonna make you a teacher. It's not you know, you need to go through process. You know, like I say to people nowadays, unfortunately, we have more messengers than teachers. Meaning, messengers are someone that get information and just repass that information. A teacher get information, break down, see the community, have a whole process and know how to give that message. You know, like so. People need to understand more about this idea of methodology, what should I think about it, and we have big responsibilities like you know, like us or not. A lot of people say have this saying, right, like dance is my therapy, and I say nope. Dance is therapeutical, can help you in the process of therapy. If you need therapy, go to a therapist, go to a psychologist. There where you should be going, because but it's more nice to say to people, right? My family, oh, I dance. Then I'm going to the psychologist. I have, no, it's okay. Same way we need to train our body, we need to train our brain, we need to understand things that happen and emotions on that. So dance can help you in the process of that, but shouldn't be the solution. I say to people like, oh no, Arthur, it's dance. I say, no. Dance save me, dance all that. But it's a process, it's a tool. It's something that we use. If you don't know how to manage that, you're gonna get frustrations. You're just gonna make that feelings that you have higher. And I say, for example, to my students, I say, look, if I ask you, how are you? Don't lie to me. Because if I had a bad day, I'm gonna go easy on you. I wanna try to make it easy. If you come to me and say you have a good day, oh, I'm gonna push you. Oh, because you said you're good. So let's go. Let's get to work. So I said, don't lie to me, because if you have a bad day, just say it. And I say to my student, like, if I don't have a bad day, I will tell you guys. But that doesn't mean I'm going to shift that to you. But just so you know, if I'm more quiet, whatever, it happens. I don't want to, for me, I cannot be fake. and my face. Like I'm very expressive. So it's like I don't believe like, like people like us have that like, oh, everybody's different. Everybody have their own personality and all that, right? So on that process and that journey that people wanted to improve, to want to do that, it's go through the stages. Like, you can be a student, then you're assistant, then you are junior teacher, then you become a teacher, then you become international teacher, and then you go on and on. And like I said before, it's not based on how many years, it's based on hours. So you want to base everything that you know on hours that you input to that. And I say like a dancing, we're working our body. People are so focused on the steps and they think like, oh, I become a better dancer because I know steps. So no, and especially like you need to know what do you want, where you want to go, what is your main goal. Social dancing. You want to do competition, you want to be choreographer, you want to be a teacher, you want to do, it's in different ways, like you have different layers, let's say. But all that I have in common, it's you're a student. So I say to everybody, never stop to be a student, no matter who you are. Because at the day you stop being a student, you stop being everything. So I still doing classes, I still like get information with other friends, different styles, and pushing myself. And not just that, I say like, people go read. Like, if you don't know about, like people sometimes come to me and say like, that's a Zouk technique. I said, no, I guess it's just we are more into biomechanics and anatomy. And like I have like classes on that I done, workshops, that wasn't about any step. I was just talking about the spine. 1 hour just talking about the function of the spine. And from there you can develop, once you understand, when you have awareness, I guess like that's, people were lacking of that as well, as awareness of the body, awareness of space, awareness of everything. Have one thing that happened now in Brazil, especially with the Jack and Jill competition now, right? That it makes me a little bit upset, let's say, because we have like amazing teachers teaching classes. And I was like, some people, like I'm missing some people. And then I see that in the same time there was going the classes, people was another place doing a Jack and Jill practice. And I'm like, Jack and Jill practice? But you guys, instead of like you just practicing, instead of coming here, collecting information that is here, you guys are trying to get used to each other. And I'm like, that's what I like, especially like when you talk about Jack and Jill and all this, if you need to practice to synchronize and know each other, that's when you need to work the most on classes, because it means you're having lack of a lot of stuff and information that you need to learn. So I see like you can see classes empty, but the socials like this. So it's a lot of time people like the idea, no, I already know. But then I was like, yeah, but you already know, but still, dance is not exactly science. Medicine is changing all the time. Oh, you should not eat this. No, you should. You should fasting is bad for you. No, fasting is good for you. This is bad, this is good. So all the time, imagine dance that is like a art, a dance, it is evolving. If music evolve all the time, like music, what the music was back in the time and what is now, it's very different. Everything is changing. So the dance changed too. So you need to make I say to my students, I say, look, what I said maybe last year, maybe I'm going to come today and say something different. So it's not just like, oh, I already did the basic steps. Maybe something is going to be changing. Maybe something going to be adjusted. Maybe some things that I used to do, now doing a different way. So we need to be like, me particularly, like after 15 years dancing, I need to I have a conversation with a friend. And then he said I was like, really? I'm like, oh man. I said, okay, let me try. But a lot of the times people have this idea like that mindset, like they learn something and then when they relearn, they're like, oh, so I've been doing wrong all this time. I said, no, it's just a different way. So like for me, I always avoid, for example, in class, say this is wrong and this is right. I always say depends. Like, but again, depends. Why? I said like, if you're gonna do something, if you don't have a why, so why you do it? And then I make people just like, I try to always make, for example, my students, I say, look, I'm not gonna come here and just give you the answer. I'm gonna make you think it too. So most of the time, I'm the one asking questions to them than them asking to me. So I ask all the time, so what should you guys doing here? And everybody. Because a lot of the times people are, and this like, also people come to class and sometimes like they become just a vegetable. They're just there, but they are not. And then I see how many times too, like I have places that I've been talking, like for example, right now in festivals, on the recap, I don't open my mouth. I just show. Because a lot of the times people are like 1 hour, like this, and just waiting for when you put the music so then it can dance. And then at the end, they want to record all the information. I said, I've been 1 hour giving all the information. Now I'm just gonna show what he did. And some people that come like sometimes they don't do the class, they want to just record. I said, because, you know, like that's the thing, like going back again, like people coming to class to dance and going to socials to learn. And I'm like, how many times people come like, oh, the social, teach me. I'm like, pay me. It's like, why? Like, you're a dentist. I don't go to like say, can you have a, no, like right now I'm not like and I have places, for example, being like in a social and people like sometimes I'm not dancing and people, why are you not dancing? I'm like, because I don't want to. I'm just socializing. And that's the other part, social dancing. I can socialize and dancing at the same time. And also people need to learn how to socialize on the dance floor because right now with cameras and all that, it becomes a show.
Completely agree.
Yeah, so it's like, and I say to people, the camera, it's not the bad thing. It's what you do when you see a camera that is the bad thing. Recording you, it's fine. I don't mind recording me. I don't change the way I dance when I have a camera. But people change completely. They are dancing here, relax, and when they see a camera, like it change. It becomes like, I need to show, I need to prove, I need to do. I'm like, no. The problem is not the camera. It's how you interact with the camera. Mm-hmm. So people say like, oh yes, the phone. And I said, the phone can do nothing by itself. We have someone that can do it. So, and I said people like right now, like people are so hypocrite, let's say. Because I don't like this, but you're the first one to take your phone to record. So.
Absolutely.
It's a little bit like, you know, I say to people like, I say, guys, we need to really be careful when you're going to open the mouth to see what we are doing first before we say, because people sometimes rely the community on the artist, on the organizer. In one day I said, the community is everybody. So the artist is dancing and you are recording, you are the one then complaining about the all fancy things. For us, recording, it's part of our branding. It's important, but at the same time, I feel like, okay, guys, we need to sell, but you need to make sure we teach. What we do there, it's what they're gonna try copy us. So you need to be careful to don't show things on the demo or on social and then complain about people doing the same thing. So one thing like you're doing a show, a demo that you need to do a highlight. And I say to students, look, understand different type of dances. We have competition dancing, we have exhibition, and we have social.
Actually, one really interesting topic that you were talking about before, talking about students looking to learn, and we've already talked a little bit about the speed. and everything that is going on in social media, how we're learning, there's something I think we don't talk about enough, which is building body awareness. And awareness, I think, is something that nobody can give you. You can give me a step to do and I can execute it, but you can't help me feel, what does my elbow do when I extend it, and how does that lead the rest of my arm out, for example, right? I think you mentioned you were writing a book, is that right? And is body awareness something that features or part of your methodology?
Yes, this book, I started this book in 2017. Then I stopped it, like things that you go through, like think about myself, like that intrudes, like you say, who you think you are, why are you writing this? And then I stop it. And then I go back like this year, like I was like last year, at the end of last year, I was like, yeah, I was going through a lot of things, and then I was like, oh, wait a second, I want to go back to that. So then I went back to that, and of course with way more information, so I already rewrite most of the book and everything. And one of that, like the chapters that I talked about is the awareness, right? So in awareness in all kind of sense, so I go through a little bit basics of the whole process of from students to a teacher, what it goes through, basic anatomy, basic psychology, business, branding, and all that. So like, because it's not just dance, right? So, and the awareness, it's like, for me, like how I develop, especially the way for me to create awareness and how I could, like, because a lot of the times people know how to show how to do it, right? And so I remember back in 2016, 15, I don't remember, I opened this WhatsApp group for the Brazilian community, because as I moved from Brazil like 15 years ago, so I was like kind of like to give it back to the community there. So I opened this WhatsApp group with a business strategy, but at the same time I was like, okay, I'm gonna open this group, and every week I'm gonna give 3 tips. So you guys can ask 3 questions. The first 3 questions I will reply. But I'm not gonna use audio, I'm not gonna use video. I'm gonna type everything. So people ask me all kinds of stuff. And I need to develop a way to bring awareness and type. Every single thing, sensation, how you feel. Because I had one experience back in Brazil as well, that I worked with blind people. And that was a very interesting project, because it's very funny, because most of the time, like people that have the privilege of sight, we trip over and fall more than blind people.
Do we? Wow.
Yes, because we rely a lot on what we see more than what we feel. And that happens in the dancing too. Visual, it's very important, yes, but then we forgot about the sensation, the feeling. And someone that cannot have the privilege of sight, before they move, they feel. So they have that concept, like, like sometimes we are walking and we trip over in our own feet, So, and that like was interesting, because for you teaching someone that cannot see, you need to explain it, what you're doing. So that for me was like, okay, I want to develop even more that skill. So, and then I started, and I did this for almost a year. And then at the end, I put all together, and then I wrote a PDF with tips, right? So then I have translate for English, Spanish, and Portuguese. And even if people want to see it, it's on my Instagram. They can go there and download and everything. So with that is like, for me was, and then I started, okay, the awareness, like people, like sometimes they do things and they don't feel the awareness. And like, even like myself, sometimes I go to my physio and they like say, stand straight. And I'm go all proud of myself, boom. And then they go fixing me. And then my sensation, then I'm like, I'm not straight right now. And they're like, yeah, now you are. So, the day life, everything changed. Like people that work on office, they sit long hours. So they have the tendency to have the hip flexors tight. So when people gonna bend their knee, for example, they're gonna have that hip tilt forward. And then people try to fix it, and then when they try to fix, they overdo it like a arch in the back, and then they feel pain. So I'm not gonna fix that through dancing. I will bring awareness and what should be done. So they need to go there and stretch that hip flexor, because the mechanic of the body right now are limited. So I need to unlock that, so then I can reproduce the movement in a proper way. So that's the awareness that people need to have in space. For example, social dancing nowadays, people don't have awareness of space. And it's elbow everywhere and it's hitting everywhere. Followers that want to do styling and don't understand, you cannot extend your arm there because I have other people. So manage to have awareness to how you can do the same without using someone else's space. So I guess like awareness, it can be applied to everything, right? So like awareness of space, awareness of the crowd. A DJ need to be aware of how the people are dancing, how people are feeling it. It's not just play what I like. A teacher need to have awareness like you never, I mean, it's really rare you prepare a class and you do everything you wanted in that class. It's almost impossible. I like, maybe you can count in the hands how many times like I'll go there and then when you get there, like, oh, change of plan. So I say to people, for example, I have all my classes like in files in my head. So I don't need to prepare a class. My classes are prepared. I just need to see which file I'm gonna use. And then, of course, then we have new movements and new things and everything. But like, I like to work a lot on structure, on more how I'm gonna give you structure, or I use a movement to teach that, and people can understand how they can create their own stuff. Like based on that, you can do whatever you want. Crossing hands like this. So this is like, on the book I go through all that. Like, you know, like what is the elements important for the dance? Like the awareness, the weight shift. That like people, like it seems a very simple stuff like that we do, but trust me, people don't know how to weight shift.
Yes.
And it's one of the biggest things that I see nowadays in every dance style is that people don't know how to weight shift. They want to do all kind of stuff, but they don't know how to do the weight shift. For me, how I base and I see a good dancer, it's the way they step, not the movements that they do. It's very easy to do a very beautiful arm. It's very easy to do like spins, but the way they step, the way they place their feet says everything. Like I always like on shows and everything, I can see like the upper part, maybe it's like beautiful. When I look to the feet and I'm like, my goodness. Feet inside, stepping like this, heels like that. And I'm like, you need to work how you step. You need to understand your feet. You need to be awareness of the floor, how you place your weights, that and everything. To be strong, to be grounded, to be everything. Like it's earth, you know. Like if you don't understand, like the weight shift and the awareness, it's gonna be hard. Tension, like for example, I stage like in my classes, I don't work with the concept of frame. I say people like work like a frame, like I don't use frame. Frame is something that is solid and don't change. And like, I don't want to have a frame. I want to have a position that can be changed anytime. It's a muscle tone that I can apply more or less. I want to be connected. And like a lot of the times happen, people are with a frame, they have tension, but they are not connected. So people are like, connection comes through contact. Contact comes through gravity. Gravity comes through grounding. Grounding comes through. So it's like it's all based in one thing, it's related to another. So like a lot of happens as well, leaders and followers, right? Like leaders want to lead something that's already naturally happened. Followers want to do some things that we're supposed to be doing. And like you're already moving back and forth. I don't need to push you to, I just need to redirect your energy. And a lot of the times people don't know how to use the inertia of the movement. So then they don't know how to work through elasticity. They don't know how to work through that. So they need to use force. and followers, like with all the head movements and the spins and all that, they are so think about positioning and tension and then protecting yourself. Like sometimes when you try to protect, you're actually damaging more your body. Our body is intelligent. You just need to place and your body gonna activate according to necessary. Like when we walk, you don't think about, I need to activate my calf, my feet, my legs. You just walk and then you go. So depends how you walk, your body gonna work in a different way. So I say like dancing is a sport too. Like every sport that rely, for example, hands, boxing, baseball, volleyball, basketball. The movement doesn't start like if people see it's the hand, but doesn't start from there. It's a consequence that what you do on the grounding, on the footwork. So dancing is the same. It's like my arms gonna be moving and leading accordingly how I move my feet, how I place my feet, how much energy I do it. You know.
Absolutely. It sounds fascinating. When does your book come out?
I hope by September. I hope by September I can have done. I'm like, I want to do a very like with images and all that. It's like, it's almost gonna be, it's gonna be a few pages. Like, I guess it's gonna be like over like a, it's definitely already like over 50 and I still have a lot of to go. So I'm probably gonna have around 100 pages at least of this book. I want to be as complete as possible because from this book, it's when I want to release my actually like course as well, like for formation for teachers and all this. So yeah, we'll see.
Amazing.
I'm excited.
Yeah, so are we. Looking forward to that for sure.
Thank you.
And we're getting to the end now of our time together, but we do have a closing tradition on this podcast, which is we know that success is really a team sport. And so we always like to end on a little bit of gratitude and appreciation. So I'm going to say something that I appreciate about you, and then I'm going to hand over to you. And what I want you to do is think about one person who has really helped you on your dance journey, and for you to just let us, if you can. If you can.
I have so many people. Cannot be just one. Just one? Okay, I try my best.
Okay. So thank you very much for having this conversation with us. One thing I really appreciate about you is the forever student mindset that you have. And I really see this sense of curiosity in everything you do, of every day wanting to be better, every day wanting to know more, every day wanting to help other people to know more as well. So highly appreciate that. It's awesome to see. Thank you very much.
No, even with that, I say to people, I guess it's always be a child, you know? A child, it's that wild us. Because a child is like, is fearless. Like, I mean, like I say to people, like, if you want to remind how strong you are, remember when you're a child. We are fearless. We challenge ourselves. We fail, we try again. We are curious about it. You want to check everything, like what is this, what is that? So I just say like, don't let that child inside of you, like just sitting there and living the past. Use the child to bring the best version of the adult that we have inside, you know? So with that, like for me, it's like, it's very hard for me to have one person to be thankful that, because I have many people that if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here. I guess like first one was my best friend João, that he's the one that invited me to do the first class, and the one that when I had my injury, like saved me through how I could save my body and be able to do it. The other one, it's without him, that is Valmir, that is the one, the owner of the school and the one that taught me and everything that I'm here, like definitely he's one of the biggest person that helped me through. My dance partner, Laisa, that she was with me for 8 years, and thanks with her, I got to get internationally and do everything, conquer many places. My psychologist and therapist, Flavia, that she was with me for many years, going through all my traumas, all my child issues and everything, and then help me to, okay, understanding that and how can I could transform all that in positive. And also I need to be thankful and grateful for everybody that's been, all my students, everybody, my parents, everybody. I'm grateful for everybody, you know. I'm grateful for life. I guess it's hard to be like say one person. No, it's impossible. It's impossible. I have like those persons in special because without them I wouldn't be here right now. So thank you.
Amazing. You cheated, but I loved it anyway. So thank you so much, Arthur.
Thank you.
Thank you.